And then, Sarah, if we move towards what you focus on LinkedIn, such as personal branding, can you just maybe tell us a bit more about, because there are many people who do this, like a personal brand in LinkedIn. I feel like there are new emerging ones all the time, but can you tell us more about what you focus on and just introduce us to it a bit more?
Yeah, so my particular focus on LinkedIn is for people who want to find clients on LinkedIn and specifically professionals. And the reason why I am better suited to talk to this as your general run-of-the-mill content creators, because I have worked in various professional industries. You know, I worked as a doctor, I worked as a consultant. I know the difference between being an influencer and being or developing a brand as a professional. So what I share are tips on how to grow your LinkedIn followers if you're a professional, but also use your content to find clients and bring in those clients.
Yes. And of course, we could have the whole masterclass and spend much longer discussing that. But can you share some tips? I'm sure you get DMs regularly, like, Sarah, how to grow, how to go viral. So can you share some?
Mm-hmm. I'll share 3 in trend as a consultant. The first one I would say is every time you post, ask yourself, why would anybody care about this? Every client that I start to work with, and often new creators, will post content that has a lot of I in it. You know, I did this, I achieved this, you know, this is my system, you know, this is how I do it. That's great because you should be sharing your personal experience. It is your brand, but nobody's going to care about you. That sounds really bad to say, but
But
people
that's
have a
the
lot
reality.
going on. Yeah, it really is. It really is a reality. Like if I started all my posts with, I have 3 million followers on Instagram and TikTok, like people would get tired of that. They'd be like, okay, like great. Like the first time they might be like, that's cool. The second time they'd be like, I've heard this. I don't care. So you want to write your posts with a very, very clear reason as to why people should care. And for me, the best way to do this is opening with a hook that either states a pain point or states an outcome in their language. So for me, instead of saying I posted one post and I got 10 clients, that's very I centric. I would say something like, you've been posting for over 6 months and you've landed no clients. If somebody's reading that, they would be like, oh my goodness, that is me. This post is talking to me. I need to fix this. Or it might be something like, use this hook and your next post will get 5 times more impressions. Then people want 5 times more impressions. So that's why they'd care about the post.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one.
That was one. I have 2 more.
I thought if I missed it, I was like, wow, no, I did not.
No, you didn't. You didn't. The second one I would say, and this is specifically for people who are trying to build a business, is include a CTA in your posts. A CTA does more than just telling people what to do next. Like, yes, in its most obvious form, a CTA tells you to follow or tells the audience to follow you or to join your newsletter or whatever. But I find that CTAs actually have a much stronger benefit of like pulling all your content together. What I mean by this is if somebody sees your post for the first time, like let's say somebody sees one of my posts and it's about how to write a good story. They'll read the post and they'll be like, that's interesting. And then they'll see my CTA, and my CTA is usually like, I help professionals build profitable personal brands. That one sentence tells that person, oh, I understand why she posted this now and what she stands for. Whereas if I didn't have that CTA, they just see this one post and they'll be like, that's cool, gonna keep scrolling because I don't know where that fits into the puzzle. But that CTA
Yes.
tells them exactly where I fit and that post fits into the puzzle.
Just a little addition, sorry to interrupt, is that, for example, sometimes I feel like that you are posting regularly and that you keep repeating yourself and audience knows you. And sometimes I got maybe, I think that it might be annoying or repeatable, but as you perfectly said, you never know if there is like a person who sees you for the first time, who sees your content for the first time. So I think it's always a good reminder that although you might think that people heard it or seen it many times, you never know if there is someone who's seeing your content for the first time and doesn't know anything about you.
100%. And I would add that even people who have seen your content repeatedly probably don't pay as much attention as you think they
Yeah,
should.
that's true.
right? Like I won't test you, but I could probably ask you like, what is my CTA? And you and I comment on each other posts every day, but like it'd probably be hard to remember, right?
That is
So
true. Yeah.
what seems repetitive to you is often not repetitive to other people because they're scrolling through hundreds of posts every day. So
Hmm.
yes, I 100% agree with that point. The third point I would say is and this comes back to what we talked about with the AI, but the opposite, inject your personality into the posts. So there's lots of different ways you can do that. One of the easiest ways to start is to record yourself speaking instead of typing for your very first post. Because when you speak, you have a lot more mannerisms and personality as you do when you write if it's your first time. And an example of that in my content is you'll see that I sometimes put lots of brackets. Like it's kind of like me providing a little side note, or I sometimes write words in capitals. And that's me like emphasizing a word as I'm doing in real life. So those are like my little quirks that help people recognize my writing as mine. Yeah.
I like it. That's a good one because it helps you to differentiate yourself from others. Because there's like people who use emojis, people who don't use them, people who use cap words, people who do so. So the cherry for everyone, find something that makes you unique and recognizable.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, Sarah, what will be some of the tools that you use for your content creation? Whether it's
Yes.
favorite ones or any recommendations?
Yeah. So my content creation system is very systemized. Like, as I said before, I have strict days where I film and where I edit, where I write. But the tools that I use are actually very basic themselves. So to capture ideas that come to me during the week or when I'm scrolling, I just use my notes app on my iPhone. I literally just have a running list of ideas that I want to do. And then to plan out my posts, I use an Excel spreadsheet, which I only started doing when I left my job. Before then, I was just choosing whatever I wanted to write that week and just winging it. But now I have an Excel spreadsheet just for a bit more structure. And then I write my posts in the notes app as well. And then I just like date when I'm going to post it. So I'm telling you, like all of this cost me $0 to do. It's just all in my notes app. I do have Canva if I felt like making a carousel or some infographic, but otherwise it's like take copy and paste from my notes app, find a picture, upload.